believe it was on the 11th day of my search that I came across some indications as to why they ignored us. While perusing their internet, I happened to find a few articles that made mention of a North American gate, which prompted me to dig deeper. From my gathering, each continent of the world had a gate that allowed some kind of transportation. I downloaded the directions to this device and made my way there on a communal transit device. My initial guess was that the humans had made contact with another interplanetary entity, and were engaging in trade with them by undocumented means. The evidence led me to believe this, as none of these races I had encountered on Earth, aside from the humans, had ever been encountered before. Their technology also baffled me. It was too advanced for a fledgling species, perhaps more advanced than the Alliance's. Arrival at the gate told me that my assumption may have been off. Before me was an array of rings, each a human mile wide, hovering in the air around a tower. Each gate read something different. Earth Gamma 54, Earth Terranine 3, Earth this or Earth that. There were hundreds of them, slowly orbiting this tower of impossible height. Hovering vehicles passed through these rings at breakneck speeds, as well as more creatures that I had never seen that could fly without mechanical devices. My mind could not comprehend what I saw. My gawking at the gate must have drawn some attention. A handful of peacekeepers approached me while my attention was occupied, and before I could react, I was caught in some kind of stasis field. Unable to move, I could only watch and listen as they took me into a black vehicle with no windows. Fear overtook me, and I must have blacked out. When I awoke, I realized that my place of being was that of a confined cell. Not a prisoner's cell, but more like a comfortable waiting room without any devices or data sheets. It was not long until a creature in an all-black suit entered the room and began asking me questions. I had no knowledge of this, but apparently the humans had issued a do not disturb request with the Alliance leaders, though it seemed that they had ignored it despite the Earth people. I had technically violated laws that were similar to violating quarantine, or perhaps more akin to illegal immigration. But since I was not aware of such laws, I was to be shown leniency. My ship had been detected, but my disguise and frequent visiting to high population areas had made it difficult for them to track me. So it was by pure luck that I had even gotten close to their precious gates. I was allowed to ask about the gates. It turns out that humanity had been reaching out to the stars in search of friendship for a great many years, but they were ignored due to their lack of technological advancement. They never gave up, but something did interrupt their search for alien life. The tar. A mile-long tear opened up over a place called Africa, through which came broadcasts from an unknown military force. They entered communications with this military force as they studied the rift, only to learn that the rift was the receiving door for an otherworldly visitor. They had been approached by aliens from another reality. No, not aliens, but other humans. Humans from an alternate world. A different Earth came through the doorway and into their world. They told a story that made little sense of how they had been approached by humans from an alternate reality, who had also been given this power by a different Earth. It was a chain of unimaginable length, with each Earth working with the last to build the next link so they could do it again. Each world that had been linked would work together with a reality or two over to make a gate that matched, thus turning the chain into a web of infinite connections between realities. My head spun when I tried to process it. All of those aliens I had met were not from another galaxy or even another planet. They were all Earth-born. Whether they were human or not, they were all from the same home. I couldn't ignore the implications of this. The entire Alliance could cover the galaxy, but the Earth alone was infinitely more powerful. Their population, resources, technology, even their diversity was all of unending scale. I resigned myself to my fate. Everything I had thought right had been made wrong. Every fantasy of being a higher being withered and faded. I had been humbled and broken. I told the being across from me that I was sorry, then bowed my head in shame. Again, my assumptions were knocked flat. I was told that I was being sent home, and that my ship had been returned to me. They gave me a warm meal and a gift, a better room to sleep for the night, and a full fuel canister for my jump drive. They told me I was free to report on what I had seen, though no further incursions would be tolerated. I left as soon as my drive finished spooling up. Here I sit in the captain's chair of my ship, my conceptions of common knowledge irreparably destroyed. My people had broken every barrier in our reality, but the humans had broken the barrier of reality. They had access to an infinite well of information and innovation. They wanted for nothing, and had a scarcity of none. When I wonder, why did they ignore us? I can now know the answer in my heart. They ignored us because they had so much better things to worry about than aliens.